Hi guys, good day and welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, you're welcome, and then to all our returning subscribers, you're also welcome. I'm Atoke and this is our family channel. So guys, a few days ago I made this adorable milkmaid Caribbean dress, and I just thought to share the process of how I made this dress with you guys. So basically this video is like a DIY video, it's a cutting and sewing video, it's like a tutorial. So if this video looks like what you're interested in, come along with me as I make this beautiful dress. So definitely we are going to be using a fabric, so we're going to be working with this beautiful Ankara print, then a pair of scissors, a marker, a tape rule, chalk, and then we would also be needing a pattern paper. So guys, to start with, we definitely need measurements for the dress we are making. So this is the person's measurement, and then we need measurement like the full length, the bust, the waist, the circumference of the shoulder. Aside the full length, which is 63, we also need length, because this dress, if you check properly, is a Caribbean dress, and definitely Caribbean dress has layers. So we need the length of aside the half length, the length of the flare part of the dress downwards, then the length of the first layer of the Caribbean, and then the length of the second layer of the Caribbean. So with that knowledge, we were working with length of the flare part is 15, then the first layer of the Caribbean is 17, and also the second layer of the Caribbean is also 17. So without further ado, let's jump right into the cutting and then the sewing. So we'll be using this other side of the pattern paper to cut the milkmaid part of the dress. That's like the bust region of the dress, because it's going to be pleated. So I don't want to cut it straight on the fabric. I want to cut it on this pattern paper initially, then transfer it to the fabric, and then add excess depending on how pleated I want the front part. I want that part to be. So this pattern paper is supposed to be on fold, but I'm just going to use it like this. But when I want to transfer it to my main fabric, I'll make sure that it is on fold. So to start with, I'm going to be measuring out this person's bust. Our bust is 35. So divided by 4, it gives me 8.75. That's 8.5 because when you are cutting any dress, you have to share your measurement, so you have to divide your measurement into 4 equal parts. With that knowledge, then I added sewing allowance of 1.5 inch. After that, I went ahead to measure the half length. The half length of this dress is 16, but because it's an off-shoulder dress, depending on how off you want the upper part to be, you can use 6, you can use 4, you can use 8. It absolutely depends on how revealing or how covered you want the off-shoulder part to be. So in this case, I used 6, and then I went ahead to measure my 16. I added 1.5 inch sewing allowance, and I'll bring this out from the old paper and then proceed to measuring the neckline. So I told you it's an off-shoulder dress. With the knowledge of the shoulder circumference, I'll just like try to get the chest measurement out of it. This person's chest is 12. Chest is like from one side of the chest to like the other side of the chest. So this person's chest is 12. I'll divide the 12 by 2, it gives me 6, and then I'll go ahead to measure the armhole. While I'm measuring the armhole, I'll not forget that it's an off-shoulder dress, and then 6 is already off. So I'll just place my tape rule the way I did in this video, and then I went ahead to mark 9. The armhole of this person is 19. So after that, I'll go ahead to measure the bust, which is 8.75. Then the sewing allowance, this person's waist is 31 divided by 4, then the sewing allowance of 1.5 inch. After then, I'll connect the 2 allowances together and go ahead to like cut it out. After cutting it out, if I like, I leave the neckline straight like that, but if I don't, I can just slant it a little bit. So in this case, I slanted the neckline a little bit with like 1 inch downward. It's fine if I leave it this way too. You can choose to leave it like this. You can choose to slant it a little bit. It absolutely depends on what you want. Okay, so after getting this, I'll be like, I told you that this pattern paper is supposed to be on fold. I'm putting this sign for me to know that this is the front and the U is like the upper part of the front, because I'm still going to share this because that dress has band. So I'm still going to like cut out the band part. I don't want to mix it up after cutting. I'm putting that sign there to tell me that when I'm transferring this to my fabric, that place has to be on fold, not like single the way it is in the pattern paper. So now to get the part where the band is going to be, I have to know this person's under bust. I forgot to mention. So this person's under bust is 14. So I'm just going to go ahead to mark my 14, leaving the 6 inches up, because leaving the off shoulder part up. I'm going to mark my 14, then I'm going to add ½ inch sewing allowance in this case, and I'll go ahead to cut this out. So guys, after cutting it out, to avoid being confused, I'm just going to like put a sign. I'm writing that U, that's the upper part of the band. The D stands for the down of the band, and I'm as well putting that sign to remind me that when I want to cut this band, it has to be on fold, and that Z is for the zip part. That's the part where the zip is going to be. So I'm going to be transferring the whole of this into my main fabric to cut the back panel for this dress first before cutting the front panel. So I folded it this way, I placed it on it, and then I left the zip allowance at the front. You can see that's like 1.5 inch that I left forward is for zip. So guys, I'm just putting that sign so that when I get to my sewing machine, I don't stress my eyes too much. I can easily identify the wrong side of the fabric from the right side of the fabric. And then that's the armhole region, the neckline, the zip side, the side where I'm going to shape. It is clearly, like, I can clearly identify it. So now my fabric is on fold of 2, before I like place the band pattern of the band on it, and then I'll go ahead to cut it out. I'll not forget that this fabric has to be on fold of 2. So that is my band. Basically, I'm putting that sign there to tell me that that's the upper part of the band, and then the other sign tells me that this is the wrong side of this fabric. So I'm just putting that notch there to tell me that this is the center of the band. You would see as this video goes by where it comes to play. So guys, this is the front region. I've folded it, the MILKMADE part. It's on fold of 2, and there is excess at the front for me to pleat. I'm also putting that notch there to tell me that that is the middle of the front part of the dress. So now, what I mean by like the notch I put now, this is how it will be. When I picked up my band, I could easily identify the middle, and I could easily identify the middle of the upper part. So I just knew, or I just know where to like place on each other to start my pleat from the right and to the left. I hope that, I don't know if that explanation is clear enough. So guys, moving to cutting the lower part of this dress, I will start with cutting the flay first, because after the half cut comes the flay. This flay has length of 15, and then the circumference of the waist where this flay will be entering is 31, but I'll be adding 2 inches for zip allowance. That's 1 inch on the left and on the right, and then 2 inches for pocket allowance, 1 inch on the left and on the right. In total, that gives me 35, and this flay is a 180-degree flay. Subsequently, I'm going to like, or let me say, I have a channel. I have a sewing channel where I have a channel that talks about cutting and sewing, mainly cutting and sewing. The name of that channel is Sew with Tosin. If you are interested in cutting and sewing and you want to know more, you can just check out that channel. You can subscribe to that channel, because I'll be uploading a lot of cutting and sewing tutorials on that channel as time goes by. So I'll like, if you don't know what I mean by 180-degree flay, you should check out that channel, because definitely subsequently I'm going to be uploading different kinds of flares, how to cut them, and how to know the exact measurement required to cut them on that channel. So I've gone ahead to cut out the flare part. This is the flare part of the dress. The next thing I'll do is I have to figure out where the two pockets are going to be. Like, I have to figure out the part that falls on my sides, to the left and to the right, on this flare. So I just have to fold my fabric as I'm doing in this video, leaving the zipper allowance at the back, 1.5 inch. I love to use 1.5 inch for my zipper allowance. You can use 2, you can use 1, but you should know that you would have calculated it before cutting it out. So 1.5 inch, and then I measured the waist. I wanted to be sure that the fabric is exact, like enough. So that place that I marked is the waist. That's 31. That's 7.5 and then I marked 10 downwards. That 10 I marked downwards, I'll just cut that part opened, and that is the part where the pocket is going to be. If you don't understand what I'm saying and you're interested in understanding, you should subscribe to Sew with Tosin. I'm going to be uploading a lot of cutting and sewing tutorial on that channel. So guys, the next thing now is I want to cut out the first layer of the Caribbean, and then to cut the first layer of the Caribbean. The first layer of the Caribbean is a straight piece pleated. It's not a flare like this flare part. It's not a flare like this flare part of the Caribbean. So to cut that out now, I have to know the circumference of where the pleat is going to be. So I just measured that, and whatever number it gives me, I'm going to multiply it by 4, because this piece is on fold of 4, and then I'm not going to make it exact. So when I multiplied what I got by 4, it gave me 80. I'm not going to cut exact because I need to pleat it, and if I cut the exact, I will not see what to pleat. Like, I won't have enough to go around and then start pleating. So I had to cut times 1.5. I cut 120 inches, and now these are the layers. This is like the flare parts, the first layer of the Caribbean, the second layer of the Caribbean, and that's it. Basically, this is just the pocket, nothing serious. And this is like the sleeve. It's a puffy sleeve, like you can see in the video. So that's the armhole side. I made it excess for me to pleat. I made it excess so that when the elastic enters, it's going to fold up, like it's going to puff, not fold. It's going to puff up and down. So guys, I took all of that to the sewing machine, and then I stitched them together, and at this point I already have something looking like a top. I sew my upper part. I've attached my flare, I attached the band, I attached the flare, I've even attached the pocket. At this point, everything is already giving what is supposed to give at this point. So I added that stripe there to enable me gather it. At that point, I can gather it to my taste, depending on how fitted I want it to be at that part, or how loose I want it to be at the bust part. Then I I attached my pocket, and at this point it's already looking like a top. It's just that I've not attached a zip yet. So guys, moving ahead, the next thing I'll do now is to attach the Caribbean part, the 2 layers of the pleated part. That's the Caribbean part. So I'll just go ahead to like attach the both layers to the flare parts, and then come back to show you guys what it's looking like. So guys, the next is the sleeve, and here it is. For the sleeve, I already created a channel where the elastic is going to pass at the upper part of the sleeve, and also where the elastic is going to pass at the lower part of the sleeve. I created a channel there. So I'll just take all of these pieces to my sewing machine and come back to show you guys what this dress is looking like eventually. So I'll be back to show you guys the outcome of this dress. So beautiful people, after all being said and done, here comes the dress. This is the outcome of the dress. This dress is so gorgeous. It's adorable. Like, I love it. I love the fit on me. It's perfectly and neatly sewn, and the sleeve is so adjustable. You can wear it as off shoulder if you wish. You can also wear it as a dress that is not off shoulder. You can pull the sleeve up and you can also pull the sleeve down. Guys, this dress is actually from my ready to wear collection, and it's also affordable. This dress goes for just 7,000 naira, and it's available to order in size 6, size 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. I have this dress available for immediate purchase and delivery in all sizes. All you have to do is just send me a message, send me a DM on Instagram at soke_couture, the name that is showing on this screen. So guys, here brings us to the end of the video. Thanks so much for sticking around. I'll see you in my next video. Until then, we love you. Bye.